Right, welcome back to the program. If you've just joined us, we welcome you. And we're starting with jailbreak in Nigeria. This time at the Medium Custodial Center in Koton, Karfe. Now, reports say 12 inmates escaped early Monday morning, but 3 have been recaptured as at the time we had a report. Maybe 5 as a later statement from the Nigerian Correctional Service indicates. Unfortunately, an officer lost his life in the incident.
Really troubling, Claire. And in response, the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunjojo, has ordered a full investigation into what went wrong.
And he also directed the Acting Controller General of the Nigerian Correctional Service, Sylvester Onwakuche, to conduct a thorough security audit to prevent future breaches.
Which is probably why he may not be here, because he's staying put in Kogi until they're able to rearrest all 12 that escaped.
Hopefully.
But this isn't the first time we are hearing about jailbreaks or attacks in Nigeria, whatever you want to call it. It keeps happening, raising serious questions about security in custodial centers and, of course, the management of it.
Indeed, and so we're joined right here for this conversation. Let me just first of all introduce Francis Enobore, who is a former public relations officer at Nigerian Correctional Service. Mr. Enobore, thank you very much for joining us. And it seems retirement is doing you very good.
Well, thank you very much for having me once again. It's always a pleasure.
All right, and our next guest join us via Zoom. Let me introduce first Kingsley Femi Fanwo, Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kogi State. A pleasure to welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you very much for having me.
And just beside him there, we have our correspondent in Kogi, Jonathan Omajali, who also covered the event yesterday. He joins us also via Zoom from Lokoja. Jonathan, a pleasure to welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you so much. Good to join you this morning.
All right, Jonathan, we'll start with you. I know you reported the incident yesterday, but from what you saw, just before we bring in the government official and of course our friend here in the studio, just give us bits and pieces of what you saw, what you thought, were the main issues or what happened.
Okay, just to start with, I think the custodial facility in Koton Karfe is one of the facilities in Kogi State that often come under attack. Remember, we had one in 2012, 2014, and then 2016. That's about 9 years ago. At a point, the inmates were moved to the one in Kaba so that repair would take place. Then there was a new one that was built. So it's not too long. The new facility was put to use. So what happened here yesterday is not actually very, very new. I think it's something it's sad to say the people are used to, because when I went around and I tried to talk to the people, it looked very normal. It wasn't something very strange. But of course, just like we saw in that report, by the time I got there, everything was calm, though we were not allowed to go inside. But from outside, the security personnel, there were a lot of them who were there to ensure that the situation was brought under control. But just like I said, it's not new. It's just that in this particular case, we have a situation where it was not an external attack, unlike the previous one where it was an external attack. This one happened from within. And so sad, one of the personnel was lost. So I spoke with the PRO before this discussion, and he told me that for now the search is still ongoing. I think we just had 3 who were captured. I'm not sure it's 5.
All right, Jonathan Omajali, but the 5 we got came from a statement which the Nigerian Correctional Service issued perhaps after the CG, the acting CG, had briefed the media in Lokoja. They updated. Of course, you expect that if there is a search going on, that the chances are there that more people will be recaptured. So we want to believe that that's the case because the statement came from official sources. But thank you very much for your input. But let me get that. He has raised some questions which I would like to push to the former national PR of Nigerian Correctional Service. You may not be there anymore, but I know you haven't lost touch with the system. If this is a jail, of course, the Nigerian Correctional Service recently tried to make a distinction between jail attack or jailbreak or inmates escape or whatever. At the end of the day, criminals, well, some are waiting trial, not that left the place. I think that's the bottom line. This was from within. I know for a fact that when you are going to be remanded, whether you are waiting trial or whatever, you have nothing on you. You just have the uniform. And so, with what did they open? The CG said they manipulated the lock from within, from inside. How did they do that with bare hands?
It's unfortunate that the Nigerian Correctional Service is in the news for the wrong reason again. I thought after my last appearance, when next I'll be speaking in this studio, I'll be celebrating the series of positive developments that the Nigerian Correctional Service has witnessed in terms of inmates rehabilitation, reformation. You are all aware of the number of inmates that are now enrolling in the university program, graduating, some running their PhD program, those trained in vocational trade, establishing small-scale businesses of their own from the skill they acquired in the while in custody. Here we are. It has happened for the news. It's understandable that bad news is good news. Now, coming to the concerns you raised, the information, I would say, is still skeletal. Yes, the Controller General, the Acting Controller General did report that the inmates manipulated the logs. From there, they were able to escape from custody. The detail, I want to believe, will still be unveiled to see what they used in manipulating the logs. Don't forget that smuggling of prohibited items sometimes. Some of these inmates could see breach protocol and bring in certain instruments. Some may look ordinary and may not make any meaning to you, but to them, they will end up putting these things together and then they can use some of these locally fabricated tools to compromise locks. I remember several years ago when I was a junior officer, things as common as salt, table salt, we don't allow them into the yard. But to the man on the streets, there are some people they need additional salt to do. But you discover that some of them, salt, soda, soap, they can put them together and then they can use this material to compromise iron rods, and over time. They succeed in manipulating these things and then they get escape. However, I still want to believe that the detailed report will be out in no distant time and then the appropriate thing will be done. I want to beg of you that this conversation should be geared towards preventing future occurrences, because we have seen that there is a pattern in Kogi State. Right from 2012, it happened in 2012. 2 years after 2014, it repeated. Another 2 years, Every 2016, it happened. 2019, yes, that one was due to flood, natural disaster. In
2010.
Then in 2021, the new Kaba was also violated. And guess what? Kogi State has the least number of persons in custody throughout the federation. So it's an unfortunate thing that it has happened this way. But from every challenge, I believe a strong lesson will be learned. This time around, I will be expecting the authority to go into a kind of trend analysis of what has been happening in Kogi State. Go into, dust up the reports that have been written from previous encounters. Intelligence that have been gathered before those incidents. By way of whether the locally generated intelligence or cooperating with the DSS. Because I know Nigerian DSS, they can literally tell you the number of flies that moves in every day. So they can also generate, collaborate with these agencies, get useful information by way of intelligence and do thorough analysis.
When you say authorities, who are the authorities?
I'm talking of Nigerian Correctional Service.
Okay. Please,
it's good the Honorable Minister has directed the Acting Controller General to take charge immediately. And I'm very optimistic because the Acting Controller General is someone that is highly experienced. He has virtually headed all the directorates in the service.
Mr. Nobara, let's put you on hold. Thank you for the points that you have raised and for the optimism that you have expressed in the minister. But of course, we will get to see that in action, going on. But let's bring in Honorable Kingsley Femi Fanwo, who is the Commissioner for Information and Communications in Kogi State. Honorable Fanwo, thank you for joining us. I'm sure you listened to the narratives that Mr. Nobara, just reeled out. Are you concerned about that? It appears there is kind of a systemic or systematic, challenge going on at Koton Karfe.
Thank you very much. I want to say that our focus should not just be on how to prevent future occurrence, but to also investigate this deeply and find out what actually happened. I think it's very critical to profane solutions to averting future occurrence. It's quite unfortunate that some inmates could be said to have tied two officials of the NCS, and then one of them eventually died. And then they told us that they escaped through a tower. When our state security advisor went to the facility with the fence, so there was no way a tower that is outside the fence could have aided their escape from the place. So we need a very thorough investigation. It is key. Yes, we've had a history of jailbreaks in the state, just like we've had it across the country, like the one we had in Kaba. I think there was a general consensus that we should have military formations and facilities around the custodial centers. That is what we have in Kaba now. And that's why you are not hearing about any jailbreak in Kaba, because the place is well protected. We need to protect the custodial centers. It is the responsibility of the system as a whole, not just the federal government, but the state government. And we've been working very closely with them. I'm very happy that the former image maker of the NCS said that Kogi is having the least number of inmates in their custodial centers. It also speaks to the fact that are we putting the inmates at the appropriate category of custodial centers that they are supposed to be? I'm aware, I may not give all the details for security reasons, that some few weeks ago, some people had to be moved to where they should be, the facilities that can handle them. It is also critical that we look into that. when you look at the whole criminology ecosystem, it is critical that we ensure that our custodial centers are safe for so many reasons. One, those who have been convicted by competent courts of jurisdiction should never have any illusion or impression that they could escape from the custodial centers. It will endanger the society as a whole. Secondly, when these people escape from the custodial centers, they become a menace to the society. They are very dangerous to the society. And Kogi is the society. And that's why we've taken very keen interest in this. When you say jailbreak, it might be a violent one. It might not. It might be a non-violent one. But the one that happened yesterday was not a violent jailbreak. And the stories are not just coming together. You cannot say people compromised the locks from inside. They came out. They went out through the tower. The tower was outside. We later found out that it was the goalpost they used for their recreational center that they broke and used it to climb the fence. So there is no way NCS can say that there are no internal collaborators. This is a clear case of internal compromise. And, we need to get to the root of it to be able to avert possible future occurrence. We don't pray that will happen again because just like we have been able to keep Kaba safe with the security architecture around the custodial center, we hope to be able to achieve the same thing at Koton Karfe. And that's exactly what the Kogi State government is going to do. So we are joining forces with the NCS and all the security agencies to launch very deep investigations into what happened at Koton Karfe yesterday, with a view to teaching a lot of people lessons that we must respect the fact that those who are made, those who have been, convicted should serve their terms and should be a center where we don't only punish the inmates, but we should also be able to reform them. We should be able to reform them. We should be able. That's why it's now a correctional service. We should be able to make them useful to the society when they leave the place. So, and I will also say that from the psychological point of view, every inmate, the main intention of any inmate in a custodial center is how to get out of the place. So we should be steps ahead of their thinking, reasoning, planning, strategies, and all of those things. We should be steps ahead. We cannot sit by and let it happen. Then we will now, be running helter-skelter. So we must have a holistic plan and put in place a mechanism that will make our custodial centers secure.
Femi, thank you very much. I'm sorry, Claire. Thank you very much. I can't help returning to Francis Enobere here in the studio. And the reason is that you are the closest to the authorities as it is within this setting. And I can't also help, taking into consideration a lot of the things that Kingsley Fanwo has raised, a lot of the issues he's raised. Now, earlier you were talking about the chances that they may have got soap, salt, and they could fabricate lapses on the part of the Nigerian Correctional Service. Whether they were able to manipulate, if the locks got old, lapses on the part of the Nigerian Correctional Service. No matter if you talk about lack of intelligence, it is a given that Nigerian Correctional Service works with sister security agencies. And if you fail to do that, the joke is on you. And so, what exactly? I know that efforts are being made. I know that you have, custodial centers that are 100 years, 80 years, built in colonial era, and all of these are challenges. But what exactly? Why does it seem? You alluded to the fact that there are fewer, Kogi people in custodial centers. Yet, it appears that that place is the hub of jailbreak or jail attack, whatever you want to call it. So what are the challenges? Why does it seem that the Nigerian Correctional Service is unable to deliver on its mandate? Yes, you can talk about the welfare parts of it, the reformation part of it, but the primary thing is to keep in secure custody these inmates. What exactly are the challenges that are making it difficult for the service to do this job?
Well, yes. Thank you very much. But let me tell you that for every one infraction that is open to the public, 20, if not more, have been averted through intelligence. But you don't expect the authority to come out to ring bell on those ones. However, whenever it happens, there is always a minus to the authority. I did mention that going forward, what has just happened may be a kind of propelling force that will cause the authorities to dig deep into the reports of previous occurrences.
This wasn't done in the past?
No,
because I know that
told
each time,
yes,
each time there are reports, each time this is just over and over and over. Except you are saying that these things you are basis.
Well, what I am telling you is that I have confidence in the new management because he is one person that has headed almost all the directorates in the service. And you can connect that with the speed with which I can confirm to you that 5 of the 12 escapees have been arrested. The number may have gone up above that, I wouldn't know, but I can confirm to you totally that 5 have been, because he went there, took charge of the strategic structure to recover those inmates that are on the run. The detail, like I told you, will be unveiled later. But I want to tell you that the authorities will do more this time around with dusting up the reports of previous happenings, perhaps this time around, to connect with intelligence from other sister security agencies. What the scanning of the report of the scanning of the environment before any such incident, because there is what we call early warning signal.
Okay, just hold on. Before I ask you my next question, both of you and Honorable Kingsley Fanwu, I'd like to bring in Jonathan Omajale, if he's still with us, our correspondent. Jonathan, earlier on you talked about the behavior, the attitude, the scenario you found when you went to gather your information, and you said, I mean, it appears that it wasn't strange to the people. Can you give us more? What do you mean by that? What did you see that gave you that impression?
Well, I think it comes from the fact that I remember I covered that of Kaba, the one that happened in Kaba, and the atmosphere was very tense. You almost couldn't talk to anybody. We had this very tense atmosphere when it happened in Kaba. Perhaps because it was happening for the first time in the area. I tried to compare that with what happened in Koton, Karfe, and it looks like it was very normal to the people. In fact, I asked somebody, I said, yes, Gabriel, can you talk to us about it? I said, well, he doesn't have anything to say, and he just moved on. So the point is, just like I said earlier, we shouldn't allow it to get to a point where people become very comfortable with it, where people see it as one of those very common things that had happened. Another issue I want to actually talk about is the fact that Kogi State commendably has the lowest number of people in custody, just as you mentioned. I think one of the reasons we can attribute to that is the fact that the state judiciary is actually doing a very good job. I remember I was in Koton, Karfe in December with the chief judge. He went on this annual prison visit and congestion exercise. It's one of the activities that has actually helped to reduce the number of inmates, because sometimes we discover one of the reasons why we have this bloated number of people in custody, because some of them stay longer than necessary. You have people who are awaiting trial 2-3 years and nothing is done about their cases. So when we don't seem to have that scenario in Kogi State, and it's very helpful. I think we need to commend the judiciary and also commend the state government for that. It's also one of the things that we can ensure it happens periodically across the state, so that we don't have too many people in custody, because when we have that, scenarios like what we're having is going to increase.
I actually, wanted you to speak on the attitude, of the inmates and, of course, the correctional center officials. And I want to start with, Honorable Fanwu. Another here, had said, look, giving us, systemic jailbreaks or attacks or breakouts by inmates, from 2010 to 2012 to 2013 to 2014, 2016, and up to 2025. He says it appears within 2 years of interval. So this has been going on, and I'm just wondering, what has been the response of the Kogi State government, in all of this, from 2010, 2013, 2014, 2016, 21, 2025. Is Kogi also complacent?
Thank you very much. I wouldn't say we are complacent, and we are also doing a lot to network with security agencies. The Nigerian Correctional Service is not under the supervision of the state government. What is important to us is to work closely with them, because their services are also very critical to the security and stability of the state. So I didn't know what government did in before 2016. I came into government in 2016, but I know that we've worked very closely with the Nigerian Correctional Service to beef up security around all the custodial centers in the state. And your correspondent will be able to attest to the fact that if you go to Kaba today, you see that we have a military formation just by the custodial center to be combat ready, to be able to forestall any attack on that center. We've learned our lessons, and we are working very closely with them, but we also need their cooperation for us to know their areas of needs and where they think the state government will be able to help in ensuring safety and security in those custodial centers. This is very critical to us, and the state government has done a lot with the Nigerian Correctional Service in the state to be able to guarantee the security of the custodial centers. We also need to look at the fact that some of these things are avoidable. They are not things that we cannot avoid. Like the one that happened yesterday. The Nigerian Correctional Service, we have confidence in the new leadership of the service. We love the fact that the head of the service showed the action yesterday by being there on time and ensuring that as of last night we've gotten 5 of the escaped inmates we arrested and brought back to the facility. So this gives confidence to the society that we have a reinvigorated Nigerian Correctional Service, but we also need transparency of investigation. Whatever you find out from your investigations, let the people know. For instance, what happened in Kaba? Okay, have they made it public? If they are not making it public, it's not even a big issue, because they have also put in place modalities to be able to correct that. You cannot be putting high-profile terrorists in custodial centers that were not originally designed to keep them. There are places that are specially designed to be able to keep these people. So these are some of the things that they need to look into. Like the one that happened in Koton Karfe, I would say that from the information at my disposal, there are no high-profile criminals like terrorists among the 12 that escaped. And like I said, there are lots of things that are not adding up there. So it is not entirely on the state government. The service should also come clean by doing what is necessary, what is needful. As a government, we are committed to supporting them to get it right.
Honorable Kingsley Fanwo, thank you very much for your comments. We'll take a pause from this conversation briefly, just so that we join our correspondent, our judiciary. Is he ready?
No, he's not ready.
He's
actually,
not ready.
Dele Atumbi is not ready. So I want to bring back the conversation, yes, to Mr. Onobore.
As a matter of fact.
Like I asked the Honorable, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but I do know that you were a very, reliable spokesperson for the center when you were there. And then you were there when some of these, jailbreaks also happened. So, I mean, did the authority, did the center also just fold in arms? You talk about reports. What are those reports saying? And why have they not been acted upon?
Yes, recall I did mention that for every infraction that is brought to the public domain, several others have been averted, through intelligence and all of that. However, what is more concerning is the disturbing, the frequency of violations in Kogi State.
But isn't that why it should have been dealt by the system? Because you've seen it happen over and over.
I'm coming to that. That was why I said this time around, let us look at it differently. The present acting Controller General, I want to believe, will not only dust up reports of past occurrences, perhaps we think of liaising with sister security organizations to get intelligence, the result of environment scanning, pre-incident and after the incident. Because before any such incident, you will pick one or two unusual movement, unusual congregation, unusual things that are out of the ordinary. And I want to commend the point raised by Honorable Fanwo, I guess. Okay, right. That from the reports, those skeletal, that it may be difficult to isolate either compromise or laxity of officers. But be rest assured that this time around, whatever is pinned to any individual will be appropriately addressed. Because in 2016...
Hold on, please.
Yes.
He did say that the correctional center needs to look and come clean. In fact, to use his words, to come clean. But do you think that there might be maybe slim chances of, connivance, from the center's officials?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm just going to say. That
yes.
If the detailed information points to any individual to be involved in the unfortunate incident, of course, the appropriate thing will be done. Because
are there chances that there might be?
Of course, yes. It's possible.
Okay.
It's possible. It's possible to compromise staff. It happened all over the world. I recall there was a time I had the opportunity of running a training in one of these Western countries. And when during the interaction, they told us how a male inmate was able to compromise a female inmate on the pretext that he was going to marry her and that he was very rich, this and that. And then the female inmate facilitated the escape of the male inmate. Eventually, when the promised marriage didn't work, the lady spilled the beans because she knew where the male inmate was hiding. And that was how the escapee was eventually rearrested, although the lady also lost her job. So it happened. You can compromise people. Training, retraining, capacity building, enforcing the law is what you use to address those
do you see that
issues.
in this Kogi? Because you have noticed the serial occurrence. So and again, Jonathan Omajale said, I mean, the inmates were just complacent about
in 2016 when it happened, when there was a jailbreak in Koton for this same custodial facility. Quite a number of the personnel there were dismissed. I was in service there. They were dismissed. So the authority will not cite anybody found complicit in the unfortunate incident. I want to believe, just like I said, the acting Controller General is capable of handling the situation, and the fleeing inmates will be recaptured. Also note that the biodata of inmates are now captured and warehoused with the office of the Controller General and so many other relevant offices across the country, added to the assistance we are getting from even the Kogi State government, the vigilante, sister security services. I am very optimistic that the fleeing inmates will be recaptured.
I have quite a number of questions for you, but that will be when we return from this break, just so that you can catch your breath and be ready. Please don't go away. The conversation continues after this break.
Honorable Fanwo, at the moment, what is being done, to again secure the facility, the Karfe facility, at least for the time being? What's the state government doing?
Thank you very much. I am aware that a conversation is ongoing between the State Security Advisor, Commander Jerry Madara retired, as well as the head of the Nigerian Correctional Service and all the security chiefs in the state, the Commissioner of Police, Director of DSS, the Commandant of the Civil Defense, and all of them. They've been having the conversation since yesterday with the hope of raising a stronger security architecture around the Koton Karfe Custodial Center. That is what is ongoing right now, and it has the full blessings of the Chief Servant of the State, His Excellency Alhaji Ahmed Usman, to ensure that the place is well secured. We'll have to wait for the investigations and also look at the ongoing conversations at improving security around not just the Koton Karfe custodial centers, but all the custodial centers across the state. The fact that we have fewer inmates in Kogi custodial centers shows that our judiciary, just like Mr. Jonathan said, is doing a beautiful job, and it is also a very big commendation to the state government for bringing down the crime rates in the state. Not just that, I would say that the issue of jailbreak, the former image maker of the NCS has been talking about the fact that the thing seems to be endemic in Kogi State. Kogi is not even in the top 3 of the states with the highest number of jailbreaks in Nigeria. But we don't even want to be in the top 30. Our hope is to ensure that the custodial centers in our state are kept safe. And like I said the other time, we are ready to work very closely with the service to ensure that custodial centers in the state are safe.
So, Honorable Kingsley Fanwo, thank you very much. I just thought to mention that when you say NCS, you refer to the Nigerian Customs Service, because the acronym for the Nigerian Correctional Service, NCOS, with a small O. Thank you very much. But let me get back to Francis Enobore, and let me put it pointedly this way. Understaffing, funding, a problem for the Nigerian Correctional Service?
Well, to start with, the issue of understaffing, personally, I would say is one of the biggest challenges that the service is passing through. You now have officers doing non-stop 18 shift. And of course, you know it will amount to job burnout. And the performance definitely will dip. We talked about structural integrity. Yes, it's already well known that most of the structure that the Nigerian Correctional Service still rely on to hold hardened criminals of the jet age or the computer age is they are the ones that were inherited from colonial masters. Even though there have been efforts here and there to upgrade some of them, and then the concept of 3,000 capacity is also there. Then funding, which is another huge task, is a problem. Like I always say, security is not cheap. For you to be able to hold hardened criminals in custody to allow socio-economic activities in a community to thrive, you have to pay a lot more attention that we are seeing today. Some of these facilities, if you are talking, it's not just the structural integrity. There are security enhancers that should be present in these facilities. If you go around our facilities in Nigeria, how many of them can boast of 18 hours power supply throughout the night? How many of them still have light supply to be able to monitor environment and then know if anything unusual is going on?
How many have CCTV cameras?
How many have CCTV cameras?
You know,
We keep
going
issue
this route.
of
Sorry, we keep going. The last time you came, we also talked about the issue of technology. You know, CCTV cameras and all that, and we keep saying the same thing, doing the same thing over and over again. We can't get new results if we keep talking about, you know, next time. I don't pray there's a jailbreak next time, but I just want to ask, what do you think could be the attraction for jailbreaks? Is it willing connivance, or is it that the location of Koton Karfe is such that, you know, makes for, you know, easy escape? Because I by external attack. So how is it that this kind of destruction, you know, can be done within, you know, inmates?
Well, let me quickly clear some of those shots you saw there. They are not shots that were taken from
recent.
They are not recent. They were some of them were taken during that violent suspected Boko Haram element.
Okay, that was the last.
But coming to the first question you raised, that is the attraction for inmates to always want to, all over the world. If you hold anybody against his will, the first thing that comes to his mind is how to leave that trap, whether through the legal means or through violent means or whatever foul means he can think of. So it is not something that is peculiar to Nigeria's situation. All over the world, inmates will always want to escape. But going forward, I want to see a situation where the authorities now will take an audit, that is vulnerability assessment of custodial facilities across the country, taking into consideration the caliber of inmates you keep in the facility, the structural integrity of the facility, the security enhancers that are available there, the accessibility, and so many other results from environment scanning, socio-political dynamics of the environment. These are things that will aid the authorities at the strategic level to take informed decisions on and policies that they will cascade down to those in the operational and tactical level to operationalize. And when you are doing that, you may want to dig deeper to analyze and identify the strength and opportunities you have in each of the custodial facilities with high security risk The threat and the weaknesses you also have in those facilities. These are things that will now inform the kind of the caliber of personnel you deploy, the arms and ammunition you deploy, and the structural distress response mechanism you are going to put in place. I want to believe that the management will put these things in place, because whether it's happening in Kogi or in any other state, what is paramount is we should have a system that secures every inmate that is committed to the facility.
Would you subscribe to decentralizing administration of the Nigerian Correctional Service such that you give control of custodial facilities to the state governments? After all, most of the offenders are state offenders.
Well, it's not. I think that question has little or nothing to do.
As an individual who has experience within the system.
Yes, you know, whether I subscribe to it or not, it's immaterial, because it's already a law that states. Because if you look at, if you take the statistics,
so much.
If you take the statistics of inmates we have in our custodial facility, over 85% of them committed state offences, and they are being tried by state judiciary. It's only less than, I can say, less than 25% committed federal offences. So if you are now asking whether states should take control of the inmates they keep in custody or not, I think the question is a fallout of the kind of a lackluster interest some state governments pay to the management of inmates, their care and support they have in their state. So if we run a system where they take into cognizance that they are responsible for the incarceration of over 85% of the population of inmates in their state, they will pay more attention in terms of providing for the speedy trial of those that are awaiting trial, the reformation and rehabilitation of those that have been found wanting, because every inmate has a date with the society. And what he becomes when he leaves custodial of what was invested in him while he was there. So if we, what do we seek? You gather people, either whether for civil offense or whatever, you just lump them, throw them, because you know at the end of the day, you have little or no investment in there. You don't pay anything. So this, some of the things that prompted the minister, you know, then to advocate for shifting the responsibility of those class of inmates to state governments.
Mr. Nobore, thank you. I just want 60 seconds from Honorable Fanwo, and then we'll take another 60 seconds from our correspondent. Honorable Fanwo, beyond the prison issue, the jailbreak, we know that Kogi in recent time has experienced rising highway, crimes and all that. Travelers, are waylaid and, kidnapped, and then ransoms are demanded, along the Kogi axis. So how are you tackling that?
We have swung into action. I told you that our security architecture is now from bottom to the top, and with the cooperation of all the security agencies and our local security architecture, we are launching a very, very serious attack on the criminals. Right now, the operation is ongoing, and about like I said, about 100 motorcycles were retrieved from the criminals a couple of days ago, and the criminals are already in the custody of the security agencies. So we are cleansing the state right now of criminals, and we hope that in the next couple of weeks it will be a different no CCTV.
Honorable Fanwo, I'm sorry, I have to interject so that our correspondent can also say a word or so in 30 seconds. Jonathan, what's your advice now, Jonathan, as a reporter on ground?
Karfe, the present facility is a new one, and it has a very impressive wall, very high wall. But I want to add that we should also endeavor to build technological walls. It's not enough to have these physical buildings. We have to leverage on technology, CCTV, just as been mentioned, and other aspects of technology, so that we'll be able to address some of these things when they happen.
All right.
Go ahead.
We couldn't go through with the conversation on land reform.
Yeah.
And we do apologize that we couldn't go through with that. But that's the size of our package on today's program. We thank you so very much for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow. I am Victor Azu.
All right, of course, we'll have to thank all our guests, the Honorable Fanwu and Jonathan Omaja. They both joined us via Zoom from Kogi, and of course, Francis Enabare, former NC Small OS spokesperson. Thank you very much. And I'm Claire Adela Abdulrazak.
I was on the speed lane.
Bye-bye now. I'll see you tomorrow.